Hey there, it's Nathalie, and I have this project that I'm working on for a customer of mine. This piece of wood had two horses painted on the front of it, and I went over it with white and did this lettering for her. But she decided she wanted not the turquoise frame that's on here. So let me kind of zoom in so you can see this. And it's all around in turquoise, and she wanted it white on the outside. So I didn't want to just paint it just straight white, and I'm going to show you this faux technique that I did to get it to kind of match the rest of the wood. Now the one that I did on the front of it, there was a lot of the natural wood there and just a little bit of space that had the horses' heads on there that I covered up. So I want to show you how to do this. I'm going to turn this one's dry on this side. I'm going to turn it upside down, and so hang on a second. I have a 1-inch flat brush that I'm going to use. It's just, you can use something else if you want to. This is just apple barrel paint. This is going to be inside, so it doesn't have to be like an exterior paint or anything like that. I've got this is nutmeg, and I'm going to use some white. And you think, well, you're going to go over it with white, but I want to put a little bit of white into the mixes I'm putting this on here. And I'm going to prop this for a second because I'm not really for sure how steady this is going to be. Actually, I'm going to just put it down here and then reach down. So I'm going to get into a little bit of the nutmeg and the white at the same time. Oops. Get enough paint on there and try not to get it on my lettering that I've already done. There we go. And so I have a little bit of light and a little bit of dark going on. The white just makes it a little bit more opaque, and I can come back and put a little bit more of the nutmeg on there, which I will. Alright, this is still just a little bit wet, and I've got what's called a chip brush, and you can just get this at the hardware store, and it's you can see it's kind of got little raggedy bristles on there. It's perfect for this. I've got my little plate of white paint. I'm going to dip into the water just a little bit, and so this should, and I'm going to just barely touch across this. And you want to avoid getting a big old glump of paint on there. Especially like right in the middle and then dragging. It's probably not exactly what you want to do. And so because this is wet, I get a little bit of this variation in the color. Which is really good, and then I'll come back once it's completely dry and put some more highlights on the top of it. And I'm going to come across this front part, and I'm just barely touching the surface. Okay, and as with any other art project, you have to know when to stop. So what I'm going to do right now is, and I've got a nice chippy kind of look going on, I'm going to stop and let this dry completely and then come back and put a white over the top of it where it's not going to move the color that's underneath it. Okay, this is dry now, and I have my plate of paint is sitting on the back side of this on a little stool. Hopefully I won't get into this too much so you can't see. So I've got my chip brush again, dry it off just a tiny little bit, and dip in a little bit into my white. Just touch it off on the edges. I don't know if you saw that or not, but touch in and then touch it off on the edges so that it's just the wispy ends. Start on this end and then just drag softly across so that it looks really, really, really like chippy paint. And I'm just barely skittering the surface. I don't know if skittering is a nice artistic term or not, but that's what I'm doing. Kissing the surface, barely touching it. I'm gonna hold on to that hinge there for a second. And just be careful that you don't just, even though I went back and forth, I wasn't touching that hard enough to do like actual painting strokes. Because you don't want to get into it and then lose your chippiness. Just a little bit more, and then I'm going to call that finished. I think that looks pretty good. I want to touch my front just a little bit. Okay, I've got the other two sides to do, and then this little project will be finished. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye. I'm pretty excited with how this turned out. The frame around it was bright turquoise, and I painted it so that it would look like chippy wood, old wood, whitewashed wood. And so I think my customer is going to be pretty happy with this. Yeah, I think this turned out good. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.